Back to episode 5 of Nighttime. My name is Camden Mowery, and as you will see very soon, we are not going to be joined by Emily Aaron today. Hopefully she's going to be okay for next week. But today, with our very special guest who I'll introduce soon, we're going to be talking about UCF men's soccer, UCF women's soccer, our volleyball team who's playing outstanding right now, and of course that football game from last night where we destroyed SMU. Stay tuned because episode 5 of Nighttime starts right now.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, now I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
All right, welcome back into our newest episode of Nighttime. Last week, we were unfortunately not able to be on the show because of Hurricane Ian. Hopefully, everybody survived. Everybody was okay. It looks like it hit Orlando pretty hard, but it hit others even harder. Today, let's look at the brighter things. We are joined by John Alfano taking Emily's position. John, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. You know, I've been a guest here for several shows now, and I'm just thrilled to finally be here and with my favorite co-hosts.
Oh, don't tell other people that. You know, there's some people that be mad at you for saying that. So.
Oh, well,
I mean,
let them be mad.
We do have good chemistry. And I want to tell you this, before I even thank you for what you're doing today. Last year, if you remember during draft show, you totally got screwed on like all 3 of your picks because of like, you know, there was like a trade or something crazy happened. And then you were supposed to guess for me last week, and then we had a hurricane. So finally, it is good to see that you are getting your opportunity here today. I'm so proud of you, and I know you're going to kill it today.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here, like I said.
You're welcome. Now, John did fill in late last night for Emily, but today, let's hop right into it. Why don't we? So, UCF men's soccer, yesterday, unfortunately, did not defeat SMU. We're on a 2-game losing streak. I guess make that 3 now that they lost to SMU. And it was unfortunate, John, because if you remember, they were up 1-0 yesterday for like 3/4 of the entire game. And then 2 minutes later, out of nowhere, SMU just drops 2 goals and beats us 2-1. Did you see anything from that game yesterday?
Yeah, I'm kind of just concerned with the offense right now. Like, we have, I think it's 4 goals in our last 3 games, and Luca Duardo has scored 3 of them.
Right.
So he's really the only one who's consistently scoring, and that's not sustainable in soccer. You need like a bunch of people to start stepping up. It's just the Knights need help with scoring. He can't carry the load. Defense has been pretty good. I like that we're keeping them to 2 goals or less, but the offense needs to pick it up a little.
That is true. Now let's go to our guest today, Ty Paton. Ty, welcome onto the show. I believe this is your first time on Nighttime. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking, Camden.
Good. I'm glad to have you on here, so it'll be cool. Did you see anything from that UCF-SMU soccer game yesterday?
So I did see something. We had a season-high 16 fouls on us against SMU, which was very, very disappointing to see.
Wow. Yeah, cannot win a game like that. Now, I know, like you were saying, Luca, he has a goal in 6 straight games. So everyone else seems to be quiet. Why do you think that is? I'll go to you, John. Why have we not been able to score the rock in the last couple games?
I mean, if he's been scoring, then you're going to give it to him. Like, that's just it. But, like, so he's been doing his part.
Right.
I just think we need to spread that out a little bit more, like I said before. Yeah, that's about it.
Now, I don't know if you saw this, Ty, but at the end of the game, we did have a penalty kick to tie this game up, and unfortunately, Luca hit it off the crossbar, and we couldn't tie this game up. I mean, this would have been a big win to beat SMU, especially right before football. Why could we not get this game done, other than the fouls?
Well, I mean, you want to get it to your playmakers, and you really tried to, but as John was saying, you really have to spread it out and get it to everyone else that you can. And when you just consistently get it to Luca and just force him to try to score, I don't think he can perform on that level. I took a look at individual stats. We just did not spread the ball out as much as we should have in that game.
Right. Gino Vivi, who was supposed to be one of our best players, has been very quiet since early in the year. I believe he has probably 1 goal, maybe even 0. I'm not exactly sure. John, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure, throughout the show. But kind of unfortunate to see that he's not playing the way that we expect him to play. Luckily, Luca is playing amazing. And we had a couple of nice games before when we were ranked, and I forgot to mention it a couple of shows ago, so that's my bad. But we are no longer ranked. However, our men's soccer team does go to take on FIU down in Miami this Sunday. John, this should be a win, I'm hoping, right?
Oh, yeah, easily. Like, FIU, we just blow them out of the water in terms of talent. It's also really important that we get this win. We need to start turning it around. We're 1-3 in the AAC, I think, and I think this might be a conference game, yeah.
FIU's in the ACC or AAC?
It's weird. Like, some schools are only in it for soccer, but yeah, even if it's not, just winning that is a big turnaround, and we need it.
Absolutely. Now, Ty, do you think this will be an easy win as well, just like John's predicting?
I would hope so, and I feel like I am biased because I am a UCF student, but I'm going to say yes, it should be a pretty easy win for the men's soccer team.
Well, I hope so. It is on the road, so anything can happen. Let's go and transition down to women's soccer, who has not played a game in 17 days. So we were expecting them to play against Cincinnati. That game got postponed, and now they play this Sunday against, guess who, SMU. Seems like we have a lot of games against SMU coming up. Makes sense. They're in our conference. John, we've kind of been struggling a little bit. Have not won a game. I know I wrote on the lower third. I feel bad. Have not won a game since August 28th against Florida Gulf Coast. That's over a month without victory. What do we need to do to win against SMU this Sunday?
Well, it's kind of similar to what's happening in the men's team. They're just struggling to score, and a lot of that is due to Kristen Scott being out with injury. That date you mentioned is actually when she got injured.
Right.
So they've been struggling to score. Caroline Delisle has done her best to keep us in games, and we even tied with Texas on the road in their last game, which is really impressive. Texas is a great team.
Right.
But at some point, you got to start putting the wins on the board.
That was absolutely a big game, that game against Texas. Now, you're right. She has not finished a game since that Florida Gulf Coast game, where I know she got injured on that, but that is not the injury that's keeping her out right now. Ty, I'm going to go over to you. If Kristen Scott does come back, if she does, will we beat SMU on Sunday?
So I definitely think so. Back to individual stats, Roger has been picking up the slack from Kristen Scott, scoring 8 goals in 8 games. So I think with Kristen Scott back, it takes a little bit off her back, and you can spread the ball out more. Just like men's soccer, we need to spread the ball. We're just keeping it too close to our playmakers.
Right. That is the thing that we talked about before with other players getting the opportunity. Now let's go and move on to my nightlight for this week. There's that shadow graphic going on up there, I'm going to guess. My player plays on the volleyball team, as you could tell. Not going to tell you who it is, but she is like the block queen, it seems like, on the team. I think she's, 6'3", 6'4", and she has been amazing this last week at blocks. Stay tuned. We're coming right back from commercial break, and I'll tell you who it is.
HCF Hot Takes. I'm Johnny Jackson. We've got Emily Aaron to my right and Maluka Costa to my left.
Hello, and welcome to our segment of Hot Ones. I'm here with Noah Kemper and Grant
Wheeler.
Yep, I knew that. Grant Wheeler.
Listen, I'm a Bulls fan, but I just can't ever argue against LeBron. I watched him my whole life.
I've been going back and forth with this debate for a long time. It's got to be Michael Jordan.
Whatever she wanted. I would wake up in a maid costume for Doja Cat.
Brutal.
Jeffrey Laux, no question.
Richie, I would give it to Richie.
It is not Richie. It is not Richie.
No, it's Jeff.
Richie's pronouns are he, they, because he cannot be him.
What?
Oh, where's that?
I'm gonna have to also agree and say Jeff. He always is spiffy.
It might be Cameron. Cameron's had some good fits.
Out of the women, Norelli always dresses really, really cute.
Oh, brother. That went so awful.
It's basketball.
College football, I think, is the best sport to watch.
If you don't like soccer, it's because you suck at it.
I think college football is the best.
Thanks for watching.
All right, welcome back to our segment 2 of Nighttime. My nightlight, as we left off, I'm going to give you the answer. It is Claudia Dillon. Now, I've been trying to highlight a different volleyball player each week because obviously I could go with the easy answer, McKenna Melville. We know she's great. And I know we have our guest, Mason Migliara, who's going to talk about people not named McKenna Melville. Mason, big volleyball guy, biggest fan probably at UCF. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Glad to be back. Hopefully everyone's good after the hurricane, but glad to be back and talking some volleyball.
Right. It's been a good 2 weeks. I think you were on 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, but you're absolutely crushing it. So I can't wait to see what we're talking about here today. Now, John, still joined with you. Thank you so much for filling in again. Now, let's go and start with this. Our volleyball team is 12-0. They're undefeated still, and we're ranked 23rd in volleyball. John, recent success, we've been amazing. What has happened that's made this team be absolutely insane?
I mean, I think they've just really responded to the resiliency. They've been on the road since, like, the start of the month, or start of September, and they've been killing it. They've won 20 straight sets all on the road, and that's like 6 sweeps in a row. So what more can you say? This team is fantastic. They're only ranked like 23 in the polls. They need to be higher because 13-0, 12-0 team should not be that low.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I think it's because the conference disrespect towards the AAC, right?
Yeah.
Like they're getting no love. The teams like Texas, who even almost lost a couple weeks ago, and other teams that are up there because they play in a better conference are getting the higher rankings. But UCF, right, they have one of the best players in all of volleyball, as we've seen with McKenna Melville. And Mason, I'm going to go ahead and throw it to you now. 6 sweeps in a row. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, 6 sweeps. We're bringing out the brooms every single game. It's insane what they're doing right now. When they played against Memphis, it was easy. Sets 1, 2, 3, boom, out the door. Technically, we were walking in there, going into their house and just saying, we own it now, kicking them out. Same thing at Memphis. Next thing, SMU, same exact thing. Walking in there, not a big deal. Walking in, kicking them out. Tulsa, same thing. Wichita State, same thing. They are just walking into all of these places and showing them who is boss. And that is highlighted by, obviously, McKenna Melville and Amber Olsen, who I want to talk about them too a little bit later. But yeah, we're just walking into these places and just showing them who's boss, and that is really, really awesome. 6 sweeps, all 3-0. Like we're never playing from behind. That's something that I noticed. We are always playing from ahead, and that is huge. I think we were probably losing at any point during any game, probably in the first 5 points of each set, if that. So just playing from ahead is huge.
Well, Mason, that's a great point. Even in the games we trailed like 2-1 against Miami and then against Omaha, we've come back. Like we've had our backs against the wall and they've played some of their best volleyball all season, and that's just really impressive.
That's so crazy. I was going to say the same thing you're saying. We're like on the same wavelength. That's crazy.
Got that connection, man.
Totally agree with you. If you look earlier in the year, Kansas State, Miami, like you said, they were down but not out and came back. These games, like you said, Mason, absolutely dominating. So is this ranked number 23? Is that a fair ranking, or do you think we should be ranked higher?
No. It is so cruel that we are ranked number 23. Like, first of all, we beat Kansas when they were ranked. They were ranked number 23.
Facts. Yeah.
So that I think I think that definitely put us in there, but we should be way higher. We're undefeated. I mean, I'm not saying we're Texas or anything, but I think we should be top 20, top 15 maybe. I could even argue for top 10. I don't even care. I mean, look at this. In our last 4 games, our hitting percentage is 350 compared to 145. Wow. That's like in baseball saying you have a hitter hitting 350 average, comparing it to someone who is hitting 145. If you know what I'm talking about, that is a astronomical difference. So what we are doing from the hitting side of things, it's cruel that we're not ranked any higher than 23.
I like your energy today. So obviously, big win against SMU a couple days ago, maybe even a week ago. I made a nice graphic for that. Kind of feel good about it. But also, 2 more big wins against Tulsa and Wichita State, John. I mean, these are, I don't want to say easy teams, but it's still conference play, which is going to be tough no matter what. Now, these big conference wins, what do you think about them so far?
Yeah, anytime you can get a conference win, especially against like a rival like that, it's a huge boost. Like, the AAC may not be like the SEC or Big Ten or something like that, but they're still a really good conference with a lot of good teams. And also, I do want to give a shout out to Wichita State because they allowed our team to stay there while our team couldn't come home because of the hurricane, and they were fantastic hosts. So shout out to Wichita State.
I thought you were going somewhere different then. I thought you were about to, be mean to them for letting us 3-0 them, but that was nice of you.
Well, I could have, but I felt nice for once in my life.
We're really coming around, really getting wholesome here. So, Mason, I'm going to go ahead and throw it to you. We take on Houston, who looks to be our toughest matchup of the year. I know you got that circled on the calendar, and Tulane this week. What do we have to do to get this job done against Houston and Tulane?
All right, so Tulane, I'm going to start off with them. They are not as tough of an opponent. I don't want to be like dragging them through the mud or anything, but they're not as tough an opponent. They're 5-10. Like, I think that we just need to keep playing our game. Don't overthink it. Don't overlook them, but just keep playing your game and don't worry too much. But that game is going to be happening after the Houston game. And Houston, they have Isabella Fiat and Rachel Tullis. They are both middle blockers, and in my opinion, they are a two-headed monster. Rachel has 57 blocks on the season, and that equates to about 1 block per set. So definitely got to make sure you're hitting away from her. And then as for Isabella, she has 208 kills on the year and a 381 hitting percentage. So obviously when you see her going up, you got to get those hands up.
All right. I'm going to go right back to you with this, Mason. I want you to talk about our Batman and Robin of Melville and Amber Olsen. Do you think they can get the job done against Houston?
Yes, 100%. Well, against Houston, yeah, I believe so. I do not think that we will lose this game because of this duo. We get all this talk about McKenna Melville, but Amber Olsen, it all comes from the setter. And your setter, if you're getting perfect sets, it just makes it easier on your hitter for McKenna Melville. So those two are going to carry us to win this game against Houston. I'm calling it right now.
I love it. I love the energy. John, I'm going to go and ask you this. Now, the record for sweeps in a row for our team has been 6. They look to get their 7th, or I'm sorry, it's 7. They look to tie that record against Houston. Do you think they can sweep? And if so, if they win this game, will they finish the year undefeated?
I think they definitely can sweep. I don't want to outright say they will because Houston is a very tough team. They're the only other undefeated team in AAC play, and they're probably our toughest test left. But I think they absolutely can sweep them. And if they can beat Houston in Houston, I don't see anyone who can stop them for the rest of the regular season.
Right, this is going to be like 6 road games in a row. If they come back and they're still undefeated, 14-0, Mason, can this team go undefeated?
100%. This team is special. If they can get past Houston, I'm not gonna predict a sweep of Houston going 3-0 against them, but I do believe that we will pull out this win, and with that win, it is going to carry us throughout the season. It's going to show that we are here, and we are going to. I think we're going to go undefeated. I'll say it.
All right, I like that. All right, I don't know if I can agree with that, but it's going to be tough to beat Houston and Tulane and whoever they come back. But here's the question: if not Houston, then who? Who's the team that is going to knock off the Knights that's in conference? I mean, do they have to play Houston twice? Do you know, Mason?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Do that? I'm not 100%.
I think there's a home game later in the year, but yeah.
All right, now hopefully that game's at home, so they should win. But still, if not Houston, then when? John, I'm going to go and let you take it away. Who's your nightlight for the week?
All right, I'm very excited to present my first nightlight. He is a junior safety on the UCF football team. Even though he plays defense, he's made some special plays on special teams this year. Stick around and I'll tell you who it is.
Why? Because I am a New York Giants fan and I want my first pick of the week to be my team. I see an upset for the New York Giants this Sunday. Bet your entire savings, and I'm telling you right now, they're gonna win. I don't care what you say. It's gonna happen.
I have to go with the Raiders, I think, for this one. I don't see them losing.
Welcome back. It is now time for our primetime picks of the week, the best segment. I'm currently doing awful, standing at 16-10, Oklahoma State and Texas. I'm going Texas 35-27.
All right, Jeff, don't tell me your winner, but who is going to the Super Bowl?
The New England Patriots.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh my
the
God.
NFL is gonna make it happen.
Welcome back to Nighttime, everyone. When we last left off, I showed you my nightlight, and that player is Quadric Bullard. Now, he didn't play last night against SMU, but he was clutch against Georgia Tech 2 weeks ago. He had a blocked field goal return for a touchdown, and he had a blocked punt return for a touchdown in the opener against South Carolina State. He's been a force on special teams all year, and I'm looking forward to see what he does. Now, we're going to start our football segment, and we have Camden Mowery still, and our first-time guest and second Tyler of the show, Tyler Brownrigg. How are you doing today, Tyler?
I'm doing great, John. I'm happy to make my debut here on Nighttime, and I'm excited to talk some UCF football, man. It's a good time
John,
to be a Knight.
Can we be honest, John? This guy's the second best Tyler we've had on today. I mean, he roots for Oklahoma. I mean, that's rough.
All right.
Yeah,
that is rough.
Yeah, you really got to say that?
Yeah, Tyler,
Okay.
you've had a pretty rough week the last week.
It's been a rough 2 weeks for the Sooners, but that's okay.
not doing great.
All right, let's go ahead and start with this. So before the hurricane, UCF did beat down on Georgia Tech. I don't want to say beat down because it really wasn't a beat down, right? I mean, that was the day that I know we didn't get to talk about it, but we only had, 50 passing yards, 47? John, I don't know.
49, yeah.
Yeah, that was not good. But what did we run the ball? 73 times that game? So
Sounds about right.
yeah, I don't know. It was a crazy game, very boring. I think I yawned throughout all of it. But John, big win against a Power 5 opponent. I mean, let's take away that positive from it, right? I mean, what did you think about that game?
I think the biggest thing that stood out to me was the defense. You had the special teams play by Quadric Bullard. You held Georgia Tech out of the end zone, or like 0 for 3 or 4 red zone attempts. That's really good. And this team, like, I know UCF has become known for like the high-flying offense over the years, but this team seems like a defense-first team, and a lot of that is because of Travis Williams. He's done a great job since coming here last year.
Absolutely agree. Tyler, Georgia Tech game, what'd you think?
It was a great performance again, like John said, from the defense. This defense is legit this year. It was great against Georgia Tech, great against SMU. It is a top 10 scoring defense in the nation. It's great. Now, offensively from Georgia Tech, there was a lot to be desired. Obviously, that was the big thing. John Reese Plumlee did not look good, but the running game was still strong, and we were able to pull away with the win. But we got a little lucky, I won't lie.
You're right. I'm honestly so surprised you know the word defense since you watch Oklahoma football, because they don't know how to play defense, right? Like, I'm just going to make fun of you all day for that. I hope you don't mind. But defense, like you said, John, was the key to that game against Georgia Tech. I mean, they couldn't really score, but in the red zone, 0 for 3, 0 for 4? And we saw the same thing again last night against SMU. Now, this game was scary. I'm sure a couple of us in here were a little bit nervous about that game because SMU throttled us last year, right, John? And then last night was a totally different story in that second half. I mean, what was it, 30 straight unanswered points last night? That was an insane game.
Yeah, absolutely. And just look at the difference in stats from last year to this year. Last year, Tanner Mordecai absolutely torched us for like 377 yards and like 3 touchdowns or something like that. This year, he was at like 200 yards or something, and we kept him out of the end zone. Anytime you can keep a quarterback like that and that passing offense out of the end zone, that's huge. And we needed a performance like this, especially going to conference play.
Now, I'm not going to lie. This looked scary in the first half, right? Tanner Mordecai was hitting those back shoulder passes. It seemed like every single drive. We were getting some bad penalties, but I don't know why they didn't continue that hurry-up offense in the second half. Tyler, what did you see from that game last night against SMU that really helped us win?
It was a big thing was the defense. They were great in the red zone. Rashid Rice is one of the best receivers statistically in college football, and he saw a big game, but no touchdowns. But the big thing that stood out to me was the offense in the second half. They really got John Reese Plumlee going, and yes, he hasn't developed great in pushing the ball down the field vertically, which is what UCF fans are akin to knowing from their offense. But we got our receivers the ball in space, and he did make some deep throws, like the touchdown to O'Keefe and the pass to Javon Baker, who, and I will say this, is it too early to say Javon Baker is now the best receiver on the team yet?
Yes.
Can we say that now?
No.
Ryan O'Keefe is still great. We love him, but it's Javon Baker's time.
They're 1-2. Okay, they're like 1A, 1B.
1A, 1B.
Yeah, that's no. Okay, there's a lot to unpack from what you just said. I mean, that game, you're right. It's weird. John Rice Plumlee, some games throws for 45 passing yards, other games throws for 300 like he did last night. It's really weird. But you saw how they were on those RPOs last night, John. I mean, he was hitting Javon Baker in stride, and we were getting some good catch and runs. Yak, that was the big term used last night. And, of course, he had that touch pass to O'Keefe for the touchdown, and then also that deep one to O'Keefe. So O'Keefe finally back in the end zone. What did you think about his performance?
It was great to see. Like, he had a slow start to the season, but we all know what he can do. He was a stud last year, and especially in that bowl game against Florida. He's been waiting for a big game like this, and he finally had it with 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'm just so happy for him because now we have a true 1-2 punch at receiver. And plus, we got Kobe Hudson in the slot, so the pretty deadly wide receiver trio, if you ask me.
Right. I was looking for a Kobe Hudson breakout game. Tyler, I'm going to go back to you. So you think Javon Baker is better than Ryan O'Keefe already right now? That's kind of insane. But Javon Baker from Alabama, he's been playing amazing. So I want you to go ahead and talk about Javon Baker.
He's just so talented, man. Every game you're seeing John Reese Plumlee throwing a ball down the sideline in one-on-one coverage, and Baker's coming down with it. And he's shifty on the field. He's great with the ball in open space. Now, I know he had that drop. That was almost an interception. You didn't see that, all right? That didn't happen, all right? But listen, Javon Baker is great, and he's really helping Plumlee just ease into this offense and get better and better each week because, he hasn't played quarterback in 2 years. But I'm liking what I'm seeing from him.
I'm going to ask this in the nicest way possible since we did not see that drop that Javon Baker had. Did we also not see those 5-6 throws that JRP had in the middle of coverage last night? I saw a play. John, I'm not even kidding. There were 10 guys on the field for SMU. A guy ran off the sideline not knowing he was supposed to be on and almost picked him off. Like, where are our eyes at, JRP? I feel like he could have had 3 interceptions last night. Am I wrong?
Yeah, you're not wrong. But, still, it's a hell of a lot better than what he was doing against Georgia Tech. He actually threw balls downfield. He connected with his receivers. So I think even with the throws into coverage, it's still a big improvement, and he should continue to get better as the season goes on. I hope, at least.
All right, totally agree. UCF's going to take on Temple next Thursday. I'm not going to lie, I was just made aware of this last night, that it is a home game. For some reason, I thought it was a road game, and I was thinking, oh, easy weekend, I don't have to do anything. But I'm working the game.
It's a space game, man. How could you forget that?
Oh, it's the space game? I didn't know that.
That's kind of crazy.
New Jersey.
I did not know. I don't know how I missed that. But yes, we played Temple in what I now am learning is the space game. Tyler, we're going to win that game, right?
Yeah, we should win. It should be easy. I mean, especially if our offense keeps grooving like it's been doing now. It's just, the big thing I want to see is how is John Rice Plumlee developing, pushing the ball down the field vertically. If we can get that, we're going to be scary this year on offense.
Tyler, pop quiz, what is Temple's mascot name?
I totally
forgot.
idea.
John?
Owls.
Owls. Okay, gotcha. All right, John, we're going to win that game against Temple, right?
Heck yeah.
All right, I totally agree. Let's go ahead and move on to primetime picks. Something that you are struggling at over there, John.
Okay.
So,
okay, you don't need
you want to take it away, or should I just go ahead and make fun of you?
Go for it. Have
All
fun.
right. So, we did not have a show last week, but I did make a graphic. It's not going to be up because I deleted it, but it was Wake Forest versus Florida State, and also before that was Baylor versus Iowa State, where I won both, and Emily, who is not here, lost both of them. So updated records, we'll have it. We'll see if we're counting that Wake Forest game. But let's go and talk about that Wake Forest-Florida State game, all right? Because you were so confident in your team. I mean, I know you have to pick with your love, but unfortunately, could not get the job done, huh?
Yeah, listen, I was so excited that FSU looked good again. I grew up cheering for that team. And then they just kind of laid an egg. Like, I know Wake Forest is definitely the better team on paper. Like, they have Sam Hartman, they have all those receivers. But, like, I was just hoping, man.
All right, Tyler, I'm going to go and give this to you. Last segment of the day, our primetime pick of the week. Game day is going to be here finally. TCU versus Kansas. Them Jayhawks look on fire right now, and both teams are undefeated. Who you got winning this game, TCU versus Kansas?
It's got to be the Kansas Jayhawks, man.
Yes,
They are the team of destiny with that man under center, Jalen Daniels. If you don't know the name, learn it. He is a Heisman caliber quarterback, all right? He has 1,300 yards of total offense and 15 total touchdowns, only to 1 interception. This is a good Kansas team, which is weird to say. Now, it's not saying, that's not to knock on TCU. They are still good. They are also a complete team.
What did TCU do last week? I forgot.
They did beat the brakes off of my Oklahoma Sooners. It was brutal. Max Duggan, he is a real dual threat, but Jalen Daniels, man, he is him. He is something else.
I feel like you're just picking Kansas because of what TCU did last week. John,
I do too.
we might agree on this, or disagree on this pick, but we can agree Kansas might beat the brakes off Oklahoma as well. So it's going to be fun to watch.
I mean, that'd be something to
Listen,
witness.
I love Kansas until next week, all right?
Listen, okay.
Go ahead.
I love what Kansas is doing. They're my favorite story in all of college football right now. It's so incredible to see the turnaround there, but I can't pick them in this game. TCU just looked so impressive last week.
Boo!
Big Kansas.
You're no fun.
Yeah, I'm sure as Tyler saw very closely. But yeah, I want to pick the Jayhawks, but I've got to go with the Horned Frogs here, unfortunately.
I like your pick. TCU has really nice jerseys, but that Horned Frog is ugly. Oh my goodness.
Listen,
you see like the graphic?
Any team can wear purple, and I'd like it, honestly.
That's
you
true. Purple's a
see
nice
purple
color.
here.
You're kind of wearing purple over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good. Kansas, on the other hand, though, Jayhawks. Noah Kemper's got to be rooting for Kansas, and I know you and me now are, Tyler. So, final thoughts on that game, Tyler. Kansas, right?
Yes, Kansas all the way.
All right, I love it. John, thank you so much for filling in this week. Really appreciate you doing what you did for Emily. Ty Paton, Mason Migliara, and Tyler Brownrigg. Thank you so much for joining us this week on episode 5. Next week, we're going to break down all other UCF sports once again. We'll see y'all next week.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back, okay? Always locked in, now I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.